Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of the Dead podcast. Back in the building, the classic flavour, you've got it, it's your favourite. It's mint ice cream, it's myself and Blank, the Deadlock duo, back in the building. How you doing, bud?
I'm good. Yeah, I was going to say we want like vanilla and chocolate, honestly, like with the get-ups we have going on today. Yeah,
actually, you would be the ice cream and I am the little chips that's sprinkled into you.
Yeah.
That's quite cute.
Don't like that.
Have a lick. Ooh, tasty.
Ooh, stop it. That's enough from me today already.
I know, already spicy. You put us back on the podcast, it all gets a bit hectic.
Oh, I know. Yeah, so I've been a bit busy over Christmas. That's why you haven't seen me too much. But I'm back now. I've been doing my things. I've been gallivanting around the world. Haven't really. I went to London. That's about it.
It's still in the world. It's still part of the world.
It is.
Only like half an hour on a train.
I took my suitcase with me on the train, and I thought I'd splash and get first class. I went with this pretty cool app called Frogger. I think it's that Frogger. I don't know.
Okay. I don't know. Pocket's favourite way to travel.
It was pocket related. Let's put it that way. And you basically it's like a way to snipe seats on a train and get for pretty cheap. It's kind of good.
So like if no one books it's like, oh, there's one first class ticket going. You better grab him. Okay.
Yeah, you bid for it as well. That's the crazy thing about it.
Fucking hell, E-train.
So I was doing bidding warfare versus people for a seat. I won, obviously.
Okay.
I'm a good bidder. So
cost me 10 grand for the train.
Cost me 10 grand. You were originally 100 quid. I got it down to like 40, 50 or something like that. And with how expensive train tickets are, I was like, that's a pretty big bargain for like a 2-hour.
Is that just
journey.
the seat or the train ticket overall? Like the whole train ticket?
That's the whole shebang.
No, it's not that bad. Normally it feels like 400 quid to go half an hour on a train in England.
I know, it's expensive. So thank you, Frogger. Not sponsored.
This podcast was not brought to you by Frogger. Yeah.
I don't think it's called that. I think I'm butchering the name horribly. But yeah, so
that's fine. They're not paying us.
I got on the train and I got really upset because the best thing about early train first class is breakfast came out. And they were like, yeah, there's no guy on the train.
What do you mean the best bit about first class trains is breakfast?
Dude, they bring you like orange juice and like a coffee and then like
you've got it wrong. That's a plane.
No, it's on a train. They do it on a train as well. They have like Northwestern. Really?
Never had breakfast. Honestly, to be fair, I've never paid for first class tickets on a train
bougie.
ever.
It's so bougie.
Yeah, first class, like. Yeah. Mate, I don't know. It's like Harry Potter.
Expensive.
They come down with a tray. Anything from the trolley, dear?
Pretty much. There was like this lovely Scottish lady on the way back up, and she was cracking jokes.
Paradox was on the train.
Yeah, she was. She was cracking jokes with me, and she was like, "Do you want a whiskey?" And I was like, "It's really early."
It's 7 a.m.
She's like, "Yeah, I know what you're talking about."
Hey, laddie, do you want a whiskey, late man? It could work actually.
Yeah, so I didn't do that on the way back up. And I was like, I'll have an orange juice. She's like, yeah, I'll get you hair of the dog if you like. And I was like, could do. Sounds
I'm
good.
all right. I'm allergic, actually.
I'm cracking. Is it hypoallergenic hair of the dog?
What kind of fur? What brand of dog?
So we don't have a dog on the trip. But there was no person. I was devastated. I was devastated. I was so devastated, in fact, that it's the first time I've ever emailed Northwestern. I was like...
I said there was no breakfast. What do you mean?
I was so mad about it. I don't think I've ever been that upset about something before because I'd gassed myself up for like 2 days. Like, I'm going to get on this train. It's going to be amazing. We've got breakfast.
Didn't eat for 2.5 days.
Yeah, I fasted for it and all. And no breakfast.
Wait, what are you doing?
Yeah, no one even came out to check my tickets. That was even worse. I was like...
That does happen, yeah.
Maybe that's why I won the bidding war. Someone knew.
Yeah,
someone knew it was going to have the insider info. Yeah,
no one's going to check this one anyway.
Yeah, so it was a chill train journey. Other than no breakfast. So it was kind of good. And then went down to London for a little bit. I can't remember where the event was.
You were at the XL Centre.
Yeah, how do you know?
Because I know because I used to live near that part of London for years, so I'd always visit it. Yeah,
I was in the Ibis next door, which is kind of cool. Yeah.
Yeah, that's where, for anyone that's unfamiliar, like probably an overlap of familiar sort of, I can't remember what they're called, like an audience, not an audience. What's it when you got like a hobby? You know what I mean? Like you're something in that hobby.
A
Connoisseur, maybe.
Hotelist?
We can go with that. No,
Hotelist?
well, anyway, look.
Yeah, hotel connoisseur.
That's where they always held Comic Con. That's where they always did like MCM Comic Con in London. Was it the MCM? And I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Because we basically years and years back, it was like early 2015 through like 2018, might have been 2014 start even. But basically, the ESL Prems, like this Counter-Strike tournament, used to do their finals in that event. And it was always awful because you'd have to, like, there would be no special treatment. And obviously, if you've ever been to like a Comic-Con, it's mad busy, right? But you'd be there. The toilets are on one side of the building over here with a queue of about 100 men because obviously there's like 1 million men. There always is so many men. There's too many men, in fact.
Too many men.
Honestly, like too many men. That's why we need to end the patriarchy. Too many men. But then obviously, you know, I'd have to rotate the whole way to that toilet. Rotate like it's a game, of course.
That's crazy.
Take me like 15 minutes, bro. I'm wading through the crowds, I'm ziplining. But then afterwards, I'm like, well, shit, I've got 5 minutes before I'm supposed to be doing like a desk segment or I'm supposed to be casting like a final, right? And you'd have to try and get through everyone. And obviously, they just look at you like a mentalist because you're there like in a suit, you know.
All ready to go, yeah.
Right? And you're like, oh, so I'm working. They're like, all right, you got to wiggle past everyone, get back to the stage. Mate, it was a nightmare. Circus. Yeah. You're like, what are you doing, mate? It was awful. It was absolutely awful. If you've ever been to those sort of crowds as well, obviously people at Comic Con, like they're not walking quick. They're like perusing.
Yeah,
meandering.
Yeah, 100%.
You're having a look at all the stuff going on. But God, yeah. So XL Centre, not a bad venue. Very expensive though. We'll say this: if you ever intend to go to London, maybe don't, or at least bring enough money to survive.
Yeah, my Costa was crazy expensive. They burnt it 2 days in a row as well, which I was really upset about.
They burnt it? Well, like the coffee was just overdone?
Coffee was just burnt, yeah. I mean, they were really pleasant. I just can get upset with them. Like, I even gave them a second chance as well, and then I got the orange juice on the third day. I was like, yep, I'll give you 2 chances.
That's fair. Yeah.
It's not good. It's not good.
What bit was it in? Was it you just in one of the halls? Like you go in and then there's
halls
like on the left and the right.
It's like a long walk.
Long corridor.
Like a long corridor walk down there, and there was on the right, and there was like just a big area. It was cool.
Yeah. That is the XL Centre. It's kind of like it's like the NEC, but in London.
Yeah, I hired an umbrella for a day as well. I never done that before. It was, yeah. It was raining pretty heavily, but the umbrella didn't really work. It kind of like took me away like Mary Poppins at one point. As I was like walking upstairs, I had my long coat on, long overcoat, so I looked like a proper businessman. But then I just messed it up because I was just there like this.
Oh, gosh,
I was like flying away,
being blown around.
Yeah,
you've got that long walk. You've got the only fun thing there as well, of course, is that obviously they've got the DLR, which is the Docklands Light Railway, which was the first autonomized rail system in England. There's no drivers; it's all just automatic.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Was that my first class ticket then? Just no one's on.
Yeah, that's probably why no one checked your train, mate. There's no driver. Yeah. There's no, you know what I mean?
It's all a lie. It's pre-recorded everything. Yeah, that's cool. I didn't know about that.
Yeah, the DLR.
I didn't really get all I did. I went to this Italian restaurant. That was it.
Is that near? That's the one right outside. Or?
Yeah, it was just round the corner.
Yeah.
Why do you know so much about this?
Because I lived there.
It's wild.
And also, like, I've been there many times and worked there many years.
It was quite cramped. Quite cramped in there. I was like doing this, like going past people to get my pizza.
You've got, I think, underneath and to the left, there's Fox Bar, and Fox Bar is like that's kind of like where all the gamers go and hang out after the day of the Comic Con.
I didn't go.
No. Usually, every time I've been there, it's normally just full of people in cosplay, and you kind of walk in. You have to find the curve to the bar to be like, sorry, Leon Kennedy from Resident Evil. Excuse me, Master Chief from the hit video game Halo. Can I have a beer? Yeah, just there grunting and parrying.
Yeah, no, we didn't have anything like that at all. I was at the Co-op and at the pizzeria. That's about it.
I know the one you mean. Down the road, a
little bit of a walk.
Yeah,
I was like kind of unwell on one of the days, and I thought the best thing
London will do that.
I bought like 3 packets of pineapples and vitamin water.
Yeah,
and then I slept for 2 days and it worked.
You just had COVID then, probably.
Maybe.
Probably literally just got COVID. I'm pretty sure I got COVID.
Sore throat.
Yeah, but that is what COVID is now. COVID now is just like a minor inconvenience to most like relatively healthy people. It's kind of just, it hits you and you're like, I am real tired for a few days. My throat hurts.
I felt like I annihilated with the pineapple though. I picked up on that from you actually. It was a Jacky special.
Dude, fruit events, people overlook it. If you're, especially you, the viewer at home, if you're a gamer and you're not getting too much outside time, that exercise, just start getting some fruit and veg in your life. That will help. Yeah. That's a game changer.
Pineapple's good. You'd have to eat all of it as well. I usually leave like the little hard bits. I might. Well, I don't vibe with them.
I've got some here. I left the tiny little horrible bits, but you just eat the rest. Pineapple's great, dude. Like, pineapple just reinvigorates you. It makes you feel so good.
It did. I ate too much of it though. Like, I felt like I was burning my tongue off.
Yeah.
I pushed through though. It was a mistake, but I pushed through.
Well, it's incredibly acidic. Like it's
it eats your it's like the enzymes in it.
Yeah, the enzymes on it basically break stuff down.
Like Pac-Man.
Yeah. So you like they tried. I remember. I think I was a kid, and I remember like watching an episode of Brainiac where I think maybe it was like John Tickle was attempting to see if he could like burn off fingerprints and stuff.
And
his head was holding his hands on pineapple for like hours, just rubbing a pineapple. Didn't work. It just kind of dries out your fingers, but yeah, pineapple is very acidic.
Ooh, that sounds horrid. I think I like that.
Yeah. Pineapple Man would be a good hero for Deadlock, actually.
He just dries you out.
Yeah. You think he's like a new bush, and you're like, hang on, that's Pineapple Man.
That's Pineapple Man. He's got me.
Yeah. I've been rumbled. Leaves little pineapple bombs and trip you up.
He's got like, he shoots out of his head like the little spikes. That'd be good.
That'd be banging.
Like, almost like a shiv. Shiv's broken.
Maybe like he grows a pineapple out of himself, chops it up and throws the bits at your eyes.
Oh, that's wrong. Yeah. I don't like that.
Little pineapple dispenser.
He's just like,
give me a second.
I'm
going to make a pineapple. I don't want to be in lane with Pineapple Man.
It's so cool now.
I'm sick of him.
Send him to a solo lane.
It's just his passive. He gets crippling stomach pain and stops to lay a pineapple. Oh, God. It is another one.
It's like every 30 seconds, but it does a lot of damage when thrown. Like a good 300. Spirit scaling through the roof.
Just launching.
You take damage every time you lay a pineapple, though.
It hurts you.
It would hurt.
Really hurts them. Yeah, laying a pineapple would be awful.
Yeah.
They want to do that. Only consume pineapple orally, not any other way. It's not worth it. Yeah.
That's not laying a pineapple. That's ingesting a pineapple in the worst way possible.
I mean, laying is just reverse ingesting.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
we've solved that one, haven't we? Oh, mate.
Yeah, I can't get that out of my head now. That's a horrible image. Yeah, Pineapple Man sucks.
I'd
send him to solo lane and then I wouldn't even lane against him. It'd be like 3 guys in blue.
Just leave it there.
Yeah. It's just free farm.
Not dealing with that. Everyone's avoiding him.
That's the counterplay. Just don't play against Pineapple.
If we go back to the lane, the whole lane's covered in pineapples, like just everywhere.
The game ends at 20 minutes. There's too many pineapples on the map.
That's the thing. Like, where do pineapples come from? They're an over grow, right? They grow on trees similar to coconuts. No.
They probably are a coconut job, but hang on. I always thought they came out of the ground. They probably don't.
I think they're
definitely from a tree.
A tree. Okay, we're both kind of wrong. It's more of a bush.
Oh, is it? So it is close to the ground, but it's not quite in the ground.
Like big bush, and then the pineapples grow. Oh, wow. Okay, so it's from the bottom.
It is kind of like a potato.
Yeah, so it grows from the bottom up. That's why the root of the pineapple at the top is actually another pineapple bush. I imagine if you plant that, that would grow an additional new pineapple.
It is just a singular pineapple you get from it.
Yeah. Here's the fun thing as well about pineapples. Did you know... Now, maybe there's probably some exceptions to this, but as far as I know, in basically every language in the world, pineapple is known as ananas, whereas in English, it's called pineapple. We're the only people that decided to call it pineapple. Basically, everywhere else calls it ananas.
Really?
Yeah. Like if you look... What do you mean? If you look up ananas...
Ananas. Yeah, ananas in French is pineapple. Correct.
Yeah.
It's like everything. That's wild.
Whilst we're on topic of fruit as well.
I thought that'd be like a banana.
Well, a couple things actually. First,
Yeah.
They should actually add like a nice pineapple somewhere at the Deadlock behind like a little glass cabinet. 'Cause obviously back then, right? Like pineapple, well, not further back than then, but
Are we talking pirate days right now?
yeah. Well, so that's the thing. It's like, so in England, right? It was like a huge deal where basically, obviously, like old school pineapples, people would get one and they'd like bring it over and be like, look, you know, like here's a gift for the family, and you'd put it on display because they were just so incredibly unachievable. Of like, you'd never get a pineapple because England's climate, you know, rain, cold, you're not growing that. It was like this revolutionary thing from the New World. So people would like put their pineapples on display for months and months and months. Yeah, because like, they were worth millions. You know, they were this revolutionary new thing. Yeah,
well, some guys just farming them out of a bush.
Exactly, it's like that, and obviously the color purple as well, because you just could not get the dye. The dye didn't exist basically, like outside of very specific places. So if you had things,
pineapple.
No. Purple was in just the color, because that's why you know, like English royalty, they would always have like purple, because purple as a color was so hard to get and fashion that you had to find it from countries that had purple, export it in, and it was worth, you know, funky money. And basically that was how you'd show like wealth, was purple and pineapples, the two P's of life.
Dude, you can get purple pineapples.
Can you? Well, they're probably worth even more.
Yeah, it's many well-known plants in the parsley family in North America.
What's a parsley?
Eringo. It grows on wilds and plains and prairies. Brandon cheeks purple pineapples in quotation marks. Maybe I'm wrong. It definitely looks like a pineapple. What does purple pineapple taste like? Pineapple and grape. I feel like that's a horrible answer from someone. They've just been like, I'm going to take another purple fruit and just say it tastes like that.
Yeah, it tastes a bit like grape, I reckon. Like, like you found that one.
Purple. It tastes purple. That's what it does. And pineapple at the same time. Yeah, those would be crazy worth.
Yeah.
That's what Centurions were purple as well, weren't they? Yeah, I know that from school because I was Centurion.
They also, the other thing I was going to say on the topic of fruit, right? So obviously, I think I've told you about this before. Most people know about this, but obviously, like the first genus of banana that we had went extinct. Long time ago, right? So that's why like most banana flavoring was based on that old taste. It's why when people go, oh, it just tastes like fake banana, it's so banana-y. It's like,
real
well, no,
banana.
That's actually what it kind of used to taste like more accurately, but then we've lost that flavor over time. So now there's another mass extinction event that's happening to the current genus of banana, and our current version of banana is also getting wiped out due to another like invasive sort of infection that's killing off all the banana plants. So we're going to have another new mass-produced banana if we're lucky.
And it's going to taste like nothing. It's
going to be even more diluted from the banana flavor you're used to.
Yeah,
so if you enjoy bananas, make the most of them now.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I quite like to do some DNA splicing and maybe like make a hyper banana, you know?
Super banana.
Double
banana.
Ended. Yeah.
It's like
it don't have that nasty like bit on the end. It's just two peels.
It comes pre-carved at the end.
Yeah.
They're perfectly straight. And it's a cross, so you can just go.
That would be awesome. Give me the shuriken banana. I'd be down for that. I think we should go crazy with DNA splicing. Like, we have the technology. Let's not stick with the past.
Dude,
let's
go
to the future.
I remember, right? Like when I was a kid, I went to the London Science Museum once. I was like child, right? And they showed me this like picture of tomatoes that were square and purple, and they went, like obviously we're figuring out how to like modify fruits, and we've grown tomatoes to be big squares because that's cool, and we've changed their color. And as a kid, I was like,
easy to work with.
Like this is sick, you know. Like imagine how crazy food's going to be in the future. You could have like a food that's like a whole meal in one, all the vitamins and everything, and it's a fun shape and color.
Just gave up, didn't we?
And then we just stopped because everyone said that's bad. Don't do that.
Yeah, that's against the natural order. It's like,
I miss that. We should bring that back.
Square tomato would be great. It'd be easy to cut.
Right.
Also, it fit on bread. Simple.
Fruit maxing, veg maxing. We could modify these fruits to be better versions of themselves.
That's right. Because I mean, right now, the only thing the circle tomato benefits is the burger companies.
Yes,
they serve them on the circular buns.
Big burger.
But everyone at home, they're on the square loaves.
What if we genetically modify burger buns to be square?
That's just a loaf. We already have that. We have that already.
That's just bread.
Yeah, we already have that. But what I'm saying is that like the only people benefiting is the big corporate. We need Square Tomato to rise up for the revolution.
Yeah.
I need simple tomatoes at home.
So what if they take it one step further and somehow find a way to like bring that Square Tomato to life so that he can be a spokesperson for Square Tomatoes? And then we can send him in. The companies can't deny that. Well, no, like he loves it. He's a big fan, you know. Please,
Eat me.
I must be. My expiry date is coming. I have been on this earth for 2 weeks.
Yeah,
please.
Well, it's got to recreate a new tomato every time, a new spokesperson. That's I mean, he loves his job.
Think about the cycle as well. Like they'd be better every time. Like
better speaker.
You've been processed. You've been digested. You've come back stronger. You know,
they have the new ones study on like the mistakes the old tomato made.
That's what I mean. Like they put them in VR. They watch it all on 4 times speed. They're like, right, I've experienced his life.
Yeah, probably do that better.
He did stutter a bit on his first talk, so I think I'll avoid that.
I can nail that. Yeah. He brought up cucumbers that one time.
Never again. Yeah, not
detracted from the conversation. We need to go back to tomatoes.
It's all about the tomatoes. Just screaming.
That'd be good. I'd like that. I'd like that a lot.
That'd be fun. That's a good plot for a movie. You know.
Yeah.
Big Hollywood will steal that.
I think they're making that. What is he called? Mickey 17. It's like guy who plays Edward Cullen. What's his name?
Is that the vampire man?
Yeah. Yeah. What's his name? Twilight.
Robert Pattinson.
I love that guy.
God, mate, he looks haggard, doesn't he? He looks like Abrams.
Actually, he does.
Look at that.
He does look a lot like Abrams. That's crazy.
Well, look at that, mate. Robert Pattinson
could do a great Abrams.
Could do a great Abrams, actually.
I didn't match any results, but I think I know which photo you're looking at now.
He's wearing a blue suit, yellow background. 4 weeks ago.
Little microphone.
Yeah. If you want to find this image at home, search Robert Pattinson and then have a look for The Fact/IMSINs via Getty Images.
There you go. Yeah,
there you go.
It's one of the first to come up when you type in Robert Pattinson. But he's doing a movie called Mickey 17. Great actor, by the way. I love Robert Pattinson. He pulled the old Daniel Radcliffe, where he made all his money. Now he just goes to his weird and fucked up
films
movies.
He wants to do,
which is cool. But this one's basically about, without spoiling too much, he's becoming expendable, and they just print him out every time they want him to do a dangerous task. So he's kind of like our tomato.
I see. So he's retaining the memories, but he's being sent out to do different things. Okay.
Yeah.
So kind of like Edge of Tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. But he's like a little dweeb. He's a dweeb in it. It was so crazy because I've just come off watching like him do Batman. I'm like, he's a hard man in that. And he's got this, and he's like complete nerd.
Mate, you know what?
Awesome.
Actually, okay, hang on. This is perfect. Now, I've got 2 thoughts here. One, the celebrity school of Deadlock, like it would be kind of like what roles these characters would play as teachers.
Yeah.
Like obviously if you had Professor Abrams as the PE teacher, but we'll come back to that. What I'm thinking is as well, if we're talking sort of movie talk here, right? Yeah. Imagine Valve partner up with Guillermo del Toro. They let him do a kind of Hellboy style Abrams documentary sort of, you know what I mean? Like let him kind of fully expand the character. Man,
I think that that is one of the most amazing things about Deadlock, right? Is that the writers have been able to do so much with not so little, but like the small cues they throw out in game, like the way the patron talks to every single one of the characters, the way they respond, the interactions they have. Like it's not a huge amount, but every single character feels distinctly unique. I even just talk about Abrams, like that guy's conflicted as hell. Yeah. I feel bad for him. I feel bad for that guy.
I think
I have to turn him down. I'm like, damn, it's depressing.
It's also just like when you take into account, right, how much more most people as well. Like, I wonder how many of you at home, if you're listening to the podcast this time around, if you got time, have a type in the comments. how much about the actual lore and sort of the characters and the storyline do you know outside of the game you play from the regular voice lines you hear? Because there's a ton of it, obviously, that we have. We've spoken about at times before and shown off little bits of, but obviously not all of it is easily accessible for everyone that plays yet. But the depth of it all is crazy. Like the fact that like Puerto Rico is now the 52nd state of America because they have like a gate to the outer planes that was discovered there, right? Like how Infernus is half Ixian, and basically like I think when Yoshi mentioned it before, he was like, what humans in our world would refer to as demons is basically what Ixians are. Like that's what they're called. And like how Grey Talon's daughter was half Ixian, and she's dead now.
Whole family's dead. Grey Talon's probably the most fucked up out of all of them. In fact, his lines are so diabolical sometimes. I'm like, wow, this feels painful. If it wasn't the fact that he's still got like a lot of the Neon Prime going about him, it'd be a very different story.
Well, I told you about this one as well. I think this was the past couple of days. Someone replied from the Valve account on the forums because there was a thread where basically people were talking about like a line from Grey Talon, where obviously, you know, like that he has a pause because he catches himself talking about his family as if they're alive, and then corrects himself because he remembers they're dead.
They're all dead.
And Valve were like, oh, they're literally, the reply was, oh, fun fact, his family's actually dead. So this line does sound a bit weird. We've adjusted it to make the pause longer. Like, fun fact, his family's dead.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal. Deadlock's pretty brutal overall.
It is, yeah.
I like it. Like I said, every single character feels very unique. Like, I think that's why, even with like the preliminary designs of every character, like they're all very different. I think that's something that they hit the nail on the head. Considering they had to change so much as well from Neon Prime as well. Like, wow.
But I really think that is also, like, I know we've said it many times, but that for me is kind of one of the reasons why I think Deadlock does have the style it looks like, right? Because it's half of it never would have looked this way if Neon Prime didn't go as far as it did. So, like, I'm actually super thankful it was that classic Valve mantra of, like, we've made something we love, but we're not happy with it. So they stop and they just do it again. Yeah, like they keep the things they like and they'll retool it. But it's so cool that they're the only company that realistically, like, they don't have someone watching over them that's like, no, the stockbrokers or whatever the fuck they're called, the investors. You know what I mean? Look, they're getting angry. We have to release it. They have the liberty to say, no, we're going to keep the things we want and take the extra year. Yeah. And, like, bro, it's coming together. Like, it's really, really fun.
It is. I think they're like, the more you look at it, the more I'm like mega excited. I think that, you know, there was some stuff in the past. I think most people know about this one, but there is like the comic books as well that are in there. So, I mean, you have such a fantastic cast of characters. It's difficult creating that cast of characters as well, and having, because you want a large amount of them as well for a MOBA like this, but they all have their own storylines, and that will be more fleshed out in the future as well, I imagine. So it'd be really cool when all that stuff comes through. I think the Abrams look got released recently. Very basic look of him. The one we leaked and then it got removed. Yeah, that was our bad. Yeah, was that your bad?
Well, yeah, because I forced the model and then posted pictures of it, but then everyone was like, whoa, this looks bad. It was like, well, guys, obviously it's not done, but it was too late. Cat was out the bag. But that got removed.
Silly Billy.
My bad for that one, Valve.
I think that did get passed around like a little bit by other people as well.
Everyone sort of knew, but I think it was just people took our screenshot because I made the side-by-side comparisons, and I think people obviously were like, oh, there you go. I quite like that model. I thought it was nice. I like the fact he looked a bit more tired. Like,
yeah, I thought for me it was a bit too rugged, in my opinion. Like, I quite like the idea that he's run down, but he's still handsome. Yeah, he's still a handsome guy. I think that's. I
think it's just Abrams for me he kind of fills that niche of, like, even though I don't really play him, I appreciate the character a lot because it's like I really love Hellboy, and somehow you've made like the most accurate feeling kind of Hellboy character in a game that isn't anything to do with Hellboy. No, I know. But what also though, that's more. Have you ever seen Invincible?
Yes, I've seen some of it.
So in Invincible, there's the demon detective. I can't remember his name. I think it is just Demon Detective. Isn't it? Damien Darkblood. No, he's also red. Yeah, he also looks like. But I always thought it was like they kind of combined both of them, because you've almost got Hellboy's gun and kind of Damien Darkblood's overall aesthetic. So
they don't have his weird chin spikes, which I hated. Actually,
don't need those. They look like little tentacles, like as a fish.
Yeah, I think that's one thing I wasn't a fan of. But then again, he just looked pretty scary. So more respect. He's also a demon, so sort of makes sense. He would have some weird features on him. Yeah. But then they give him a horn. They give him a tail. So
they did.
Abrams got the horns.
Yeah, he's got the horns. Wait, the model, the work in progress model that was leaked, also has tail.
Yes, obviously. You gotta have a tail if you're a demon.
Need tail. Yeah. I do like that because I also thought that's one of those where I think you could have a very fun element of it. Of like, do you remember how basically Hellboy, he would always shave his horns down to prove that like I'm in charge. I'm not just some demon. Like it's my own autonomy to do this.
And then when tail off.
Well, no, like more. When he kind of went like mental and had like a breakdown with it, he did have his fucking massive horns. Yeah. And like the whole idea is like obviously Hellboy's supposed to bring he's supposed to bring the apocalypse. He's supposed to end the world. He's the one that's supposed to trigger it. He's actually a bad man, but he's like, no, I'm a cool guy.
I'm gonna snap these off.
You know what I mean? So that's why I was thinking like with Abrams, it'd be cool if like when you altered even maybe.
Oh, cool! Like he gets more.
You know what I mean? Yeah, like that side of him comes out.
Like just breathe. Oh, that'd be cool. Like because as he goes unstoppable midair, like he becomes really demonic, and then that can like persist a little while after the ulti. That'd be cool. I think that'd be sick actually. That's a good idea. Be fun. I like that idea.
There you go. You can have that one, Valve.
Yeah, take that one. Put it in a bag somewhere. I think a lot of our ideas ask for a lot.
We do kind of throw stuff out there, but
it's like, we need a whole animation package made for this specific idea, which adds nothing to gameplay, but it looks cool.
It would be fun though, yeah.
But, I think genuinely at the end of the day, it's that case of just I think one of the reasons I definitely fell in love with the game was just the fact that it felt fleshed out, right? Yeah. So the actual story behind it. I remember when we first started playing and we were like laughing because we went through all the backgrounds of all the heroes and we're just having a good old read because they're all fun. They're all really fun.
That was all we had. If you remember back then as well, it was like
text.
Yeah, there wasn't much. Yes. This was very early, like, first sort of public release of the game, kind of not even what most people might think of a public release now, which I always think was, it was that private invite playtest back then. What was this, like early June?
It was
maybe?
June.
Like
June. Yeah. I think May was like April. April was like really early.
Late April was the first wave of invites. Yeah, and then it went from there. I think the earliest build you can still find is May 18th.
May 25th.
Is it? It's one of those. It's around
May. May. It's like I think it might be in the middle, but I don't know. We'll look that up a bit later.
Yeah, but for context, if you're unfamiliar, it
was early.
It's not been long. Like it's not even since that first wave of invites. It's February now? January, February, March, April, May. You're still a couple months out of it, even being a year of the game being in anyone's hands outside of Valve.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy actually, considering we've been on this hype for 7 months?
Yeah,
more than that.
No, 9. It is more than that. Yeah.
9 months on Deadlock hype.
I know, if anything, I feel like I've only gotten more sucked in.
Well, I think we're so invested at this point, right? Like, it's hard not to be. It's hard not to be. And for everyone that's listening and still listening from way back when, thank you. And we appreciate it. We're going to bring that back.
The viewer.
Yeah, bringing that one back again. But yeah, it's cool. If you're still stuck around, like, you're an OG. You're a real one.
You do. There is some people, you still see them who still hang out. They comment on the videos. They pop by. Always interacting with the stuff on the old social media platforms as well. It's very nice. There is quite a whole bunch of them that were still around. Which is fun, really, when you think about, like you say.
Yeah.
It was weird that, obviously, for anyone that doesn't know as well, throw back to that. Episode 2 of the podcast, we had just had Valve push the videos in the Discord when the Discord was only like 1,000 people. And obviously, every video on this channel was just unlisted, wasn't anywhere, no one could watch it if you weren't in the forum or the Discord. And people commenting, and Valve were like showing it off. And obviously we were just sat here like, what
Super
the hell?
private as well. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
cool. It was like very, very private. Like,
It was weird. It was weird.
It was weird, but people sticking around since then. Like, so cool. People are very invested about the game, and I think that it doesn't really translate very well to the current player base. I mean, player base is actually not bad at all. I think it's like 15 to 20k concurrent on average, which is a lot of people still playing the game for an unreleased game as well. I think that's what people have to really take into account. It's unreleased. We are essentially beta. I mean, alpha. The alpha's probably even more accurate, honestly.
I think technically, for what it is, I would say this is like, well, especially, let's narrow it down, right? In the current use of the word beta, fuck the actual meaning. Like, if you are like a Call of Duty player or a whatever player, your brain tells you that beta means I get to do a quick test of the game before it's released. It's basically just demo. That's what that word now means to the modern gamer. This is actually like arguably the closest thing you've gotten to like an alpha test of an early product that's being changed in development, no art. Exactly, right? Like, this is actually a real test. This is the sort of thing that you don't get anymore in current year of gaming, you know?
So it's interesting looking at it that way, because it's insane to me that we're still at this stage, and I mean, again, 20,000 people playing like daily.
It's not bad. It's not bad.
It's a really big. I mean, we had like 150k peak, way back when, which is a lot as well. But fair play to all those people who stopped playing as well, because I don't hold a grudge against any of them at all. Because again, it's a case of like they enjoyed the game. Things are changing all the time. They're like, well, I enjoyed my time with Deadlock. I'll come back to it when it's released, and that's fine.
I think,
so I don't think it translates very well the current player base.
It's right now, again, like I always mark a lot of that up to, you need the steady, especially with free-to-play games. The reason why they grow so rapidly is because the easy influx nature of new players just going, oh, I'll try it. Click play. They play. Conversion rate of maybe 50%. Keep playing. 50% stop playing. Whereas with Deadlock, it's like, I see people now that because it's been so long of the open invite nature, people just think it's a closed test and you can't get in, or people don't realize you just have to ask for an invite and you can get in, or they just don't have anyone to ask. And a lot of people, like, although you'll see some people that will just go everywhere, like, I'm on Twitter, I'm on Reddit, I'm on comments saying, please invite me to the game. Some people are a little bit more shy, and they're going to be like, I feel awkward asking someone to invite me. I'll just wait, so they could be waiting like 6 months. But I think for me, that's one of the biggest reasons, outside of the fact, obviously, it is a test. Like, it's not finished yet, so a lot of people aren't going to be as infused if they haven't played it and gone, oh, I love this. And with Deadlock, I think it is one of those games where you have to try it and lose to realize why it's so good and get better and want to play more, Like, you need to play it first. You can't watch it and go, oh, I'll give it a try. You have to just play it.
Yeah, I think it's a complicated game as well. I think that's one of the... It's compounding effect of, like, there's no big green play button. It's a complicated game, so it's hard to start. And I think that it would be easy to start if things weren't so in flux all the time. But they have to be in flux because things are constantly changing, constantly updating stuff. Valve doesn't like this; they're going to change it. That's fine. And I think that the more you play it, the better you're going to get. But for a lot of people, it's a case of, well, I just learned the game, and now mid's changed. the lanes on the sides, all wonky. Like, so what's going on? So you do have this situation where it's hard to learn that stuff. So I do think people play it, and most people I've talked to who have played it are like, I really enjoyed Deadlock. I enjoyed it. I'm going to wait a little bit until things even out a little bit, and then I'll come back. And again, that's fine. So in my book, that's resounding success, in my opinion. And I think the fact that it's been able to maintain that kind of player base for this long is real testament of how good the game is.
Again,
just to dispel any fears. I really don't think anyone needs to worry. The whole argument that, like, remember, even as well, it's so ironic because I even know, like, from first-hand experience with Counter-Strike, like, watching people go, game's dying, and it's like, bro, it's like, it's not
the number one game on Steam. Like, it's got millions of players. Like, the player peak's always going up randomly. It's not dying. It's just like, if a game doesn't boom all the time, it doesn't mean it's dead. And especially, like, with this, they're actively finishing it, so it's just I think it's one of those where people are very quickly swayed by the opinions of streamers these days as well. Like, you know, not point fingers at anyone. You're more than welcome to your own opinion, streamer collective. But obviously they have a lot of influence over sort of what the current audience of gamers think. And if you play a game, I remember back with Battalion, right? Battalion's initial release, everyone was streaming it and playing it and hopped on it when it first came out, but it was in a very bad state because it was an early test. So the devs were literally messaging like Shroud and stuff like that, and we're going like, dude, please, can you not stream the game? We get it. It's like 60,000 people watching our game. That should be a good thing, but we're not happy with it yet. Can you maybe hold off? So that wave of hype of even them thinking, oh, if they see the game's not done, people might not play it, because first opinions mean a lot. So I think, you know, obviously that's one side of it. The other thing is as well, current day, I feel like people thrive off the negativity. They'd rather be like, oh, this sucks, and everyone goes, yeah, it does suck, than being like, this is cool, actually. I can't wait to see what it looks like when it's done. Like, it's very easy to just jump to the extreme of negativity.
Which is why, like, not having the big green play button is actually a mega mind move, to be honest with you, from Valve, because it's like, it's a case of when it's ready, then they'll get a lot more first impressions from people just being able to click and play the game. Because I think that influx will be the big one, where it's a case of it's open to everyone. Now everyone can just play, and they're like, oh, the game is good and it feels finished. And up until then, it probably will just remain invite only. Because it's a good way to do it. Because if you're interested in the game, you're less likely to have bad opinions about it, let's be honest. Because you want to play it and you want to enjoy it. But if it's a case of just the general public, like, they're probably not going to go that far, and that's fine. Because by the time it is playable, it's going to be a case you get that big influx and people are like, oh, the game is finished, the game's cool, and I'm going to keep playing it. Because I think that's what Valve has at the moment. That's like the big red button for them, or the big green button in this case, of go time. So I do think that we're not going to see that play button for a little while.
No,
but that's okay.
I think now I'm more enlightened to the fact that, like you say, I don't mind, because obviously it was always the argument of people going, oh, the numbers are going down. But like we've been saying the whole time, that doesn't mean shit in reality. Like, the numbers aren't real. Like, it's not, when the game is done and the game is out, that's when it's at its best. And obviously, like you say, the easiest way to market that, on top of, like, if Valve say it's out on Steam, or do a tweet or something, you know what I mean?
They don't
like,
early access it. Yeah, like,
they really don't have to do much. You just say it's out and give people an easy way to click the button and go, then the numbers will go up and up and up and up, because you're going to have every streamer under the sun booting it up because it's a brand new Valve game that's out. And like, historically, every time, you know, Valve touch something, it turns to gold when it's out. It's the new hot thing. That's just what they do. When they finish a game, you know they've nailed it. Like, that's just kind of how they work somehow. They always figure it out.
It is funny that they've completely avoided, like, early access by doing this. Like, they're never going to have that symbol on their page at all, which is hilarious to me. Like, in this case, it's just the playtest, and then it's done. Yeah, we skipped early access by doing that.
It's mad as well, because even this step is like new, where usually, like, they did inside testing, like they tested hard in the company internally for years, and obviously that's why their products were always so refined, right? Because they get it down to a formula of like, we'll play test it A, struggled on this point, tweak it again, now it works. But now it's like the limited test, like getting invited to that for Counter-Strike, where it's like, whoa, I'm testing a huge new version of CS, and only some people are allowed to, but we're allowed to discuss it. Like, it was weird, you know? It's like, Valve don't normally do this. And then, 7 months later, we do it again, but it's Deadlock. And it's like, this time it's not even Counter-Strike. It's a whole new game. Yeah. It's weird. Like, I'm really, really quite excited for the fact that it feels like, I know we talk about this, again, all the time. It gets sprinkled in. We go off on our Valve rants, but it's cool that the company has gone from where they felt like they got so burned that they would rather just show their actions and not talk about them, to now where they're actually incredibly open on a lot of things, and taking feedback that's relevant to them, but also just being able to feel comfortable again to be like, okay, we're doing this because we want to, and here it is, which is super sick, because it's like, again, they've always been that company for me that was it. That was like the big company in gaming where it's like, I love all your games, I love all the characters, and now you actually get to do that again. Where it felt like for so long I was like, oh yeah, I got Counter-Strike, but just updates to it. There's no new games. They were busy with their hardware kind of escapades, but now it feels like, Daddy's back.
Good enough. Welcome back to F2.
Yeah, Daddy's got his milk and his cigarettes. And Daddy loves you. And you're like,
returned.
Yes, I'm happy. You're a 27-year-old man sat there going, thanks, Dad.
Yeah,
Let's
awesome.
go to New York.
But yeah, it is awesome. I'm glad. I think that things are just going to get better going forward from this point. Speaking of the actual game itself, there is still some balance problems, I would say. But luckily, this is the cool thing, I would say, is that a lot of those balance problems are coming from very niche issues which require a bit more of work on the side, and it's the new heroes, which is what you want to see.
Yeah.
Like, I think most of the old heroes now are pretty well balanced, other than the ones that need reworks and awesome big changes. Like, for instance, Paradox has been unbelievably good for so long.
Yep.
Just because she's one of the best characters for pick potential. Like, Swap is unreal. Like, if you have Swap on your team, it's like such a good starter to a lot of engagements. So how do you change that? How do you fix that? That's a complicated problem. Shiv, again, I think Shiv needs a rework. Like, Bloodletting is super busted.
Just damage mitigation in general, I still don't like it, if
it's
I'm being
hard.
honest. I think it's a bit of a weird mechanic in games.
Yeah, so Shiv's problematic, but that's more of a design issue, right? Where it does take a little bit more looking into it. And again, Bloodletting is a cool ability. Don't get me wrong, Bloodletting's very cool, but right now it's not working, and the rest of the kit is just so strong on top of it. Like, it's hard to work with. Who else would I say? Mirage is strong, but again, that's just simple numbers. Sinclair, that's a new one. He's getting numbers, and Hex is a hard one to balance around. Let's be honest.
I mean, so for context with that as well, I remember, right, like, they shipped that patch, I booted it up. First thing I'm checking with his, where they're like, oh, we've retooled how Hex works, and I saw the size of the AoE.
Yeah.
The fact that it's a mass cast,
Imp reach as well is crazy.
AoE. And I remember I was walking to the gym and I texted you about, because you'd just woken up. I was making patch notes throughout the night, and I was like, bro, go and have a look at Sinclair. And then you just sent me a screenshot of you going like 31-2 playing it, and you were like, yeah, it seems a bit strong actually. I was like, told you.
Yeah, I can see the screenshot. I went 25-2 and 14 assists. Yeah, he was really strong. He's really strong. Like, very Echo Shard's another weird subject. Again, I think Echo Shard's a fun ability as well.
Shard,
yeah. I do like Echo Shard.
I could complain about it, but I like it too much that I wouldn't want it gone, because I feel like at this point it's kind of like any sort of spirit hero, dude. I kind of want it, like the double dagger haze, just spirit haze. Like, since the gun balance changes, spirit haze is so fun. She does so much damage. If anything, probably too much damage, but don't nerf it.
Please.
I know it's broken, but don't nerf it. It's fun.
Yeah, I remember basically what I'm trying to say is that most of the issues, the ones with the old heroes, is they're big reworks that need happening, and that'll get done eventually. But everyone else is like very nicely balanced. Bebop maybe slight touch on him, but he gets touched every patch. So
that's what I mean. Like, it also just the thing is with Bebop, you know what I think it is? I genuinely just think he's such a recognizable character and has such like blatantly different abilities to everyone else in the game, in terms of like the bomb, the hook, the knock-up, the hyper beam. These are all so visually and distinctly gameplay different that everyone complains about him. Even if he's not actually that overtuned and you're just playing into him or not building items to counter him, which I get it. It's hard to explain to people that, because even like we've done it month over month over the years when new people get in and they're like, oh, this robot's just so fucking strong. And it's like, no, hang on. Well, you need to play differently around him in lane. And they're like, why? Yeah. And it's like, no, because that's how it works. That you've got to build to counter him. You've got to.
He's strong.
Like he is strong. But I don't think he's that strong. I don't think he's that broken.
I think once you get to that higher levels, that's when it becomes a bit more of an issue. And again, it's only an issue because some players are so good with him, and it's purely off the 3 and the 1 scale and the uppercut and hook, and it's scaling off the gun damage. I think it's like 100% extra gun damage or something crazy, and you get the fire rate spin up as well on uppercut. Those just need toning down. That's it. because the kit's really cool,
It's
and
fun.
you can do a lot of fun stuff, like getting the insects with the uppercut into guardians. Like, that's annoying, but it's hard to pull off. Getting bomb stacks up, and generally you can be a nuisance. I think it's just the gun damage and the buffs you get off the 3 of the 1 that are a little bit overtuned. But again, those are so simple to fix.
You know, weirdly, with the idea you've just given me saying that, actually, I don't think a lot of people, I've seen it firsthand, but people don't understand how his bomb works with the building stacks. So they will feed him early lane and then get rinsed because they're like, why is he so strong?
He just runs up to you, presses 2.
But it might even be nice if you had, you know, like in the lane matchups at the top bar, very quick summary that literally just says, like, you know, builds damage from repeated use of bombs, like avoid this. Something that just makes you go, okay, like, you know what I mean?
So
like,
a simple way to figure it out. Yeah.
Like, if there's a major mechanic on the hero, like, you know, for McGinnis, it just says, like, places turrets and heals. And you're like,
Mirage.
okay.
Don't fight this guy for too long.
Right, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, something that gives you an idea, like Haze, stacks damage on one hero, something like that, where you just, whatever an important element is, for a new player, doesn't even have to be on forever. You could just have it as a toggle, like toggle quick tooltips, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you could even have it when you
handy.
hover over the character in, like, the start
True.
screen. It
Quick
just
summary.
Yeah, like next to where, you know, where they have, like, which abilities they've maxed out and all that stuff like that. Again, it's maybe a little bit more complicated, but I think that's a good idea. I think it's a great idea, in fact. It's just simple summaries of, like, how should I play against this guy. But yeah, that'd be fun. I do think there are a lot of things in there where it's a case of, you just don't know how to play against that character.
That's what I mean. Yeah. Because also, like, that's the other thing is you realize, like, even I've tried to play everyone and sort of know everyone from obviously seeing so much of the game and playing everyone, not even in matches, but for patches and for esports stuff. So you are aware. But even just mechanically understanding the full limitations of, like, what they can do, you do have to play everyone kind of religiously. You've got to get into the habit of, like, at some point, I remember I just had everyone selected and would let it random pick. Because then it was like, okay, well, at least now I know what everyone does. And that was, like, obviously months and months and months ago. I mean, that was July. But if you're not ever doing that, you might fight someone and just have no idea how they actually work and be like, why is this guy healing? You know what I mean?
I don't think that's fair enough, because I think me and you kind of similar, where I think you kind of settled on Haze at this point, which is fair enough. But I do like to try different things at the expense of my own team. Sorry, guys. But I do like to play all the characters. I get bored of one character. I play it for too long. Even if I've just come off the game where I'm like 20 and 6, I'm like, I've completed it. It's how to play a new character. But I think because of that, I have learned a lot. But a lot of players will be like, I really like McGinnis, and I'm just going to play McGinnis. So you don't learn unless you play against every single one of those characters in lane at some point. And it's a very different story when you're playing a duo lane and a solo lane, because you have to play very differently in those aspects. Like, you're not learning enough. So it just takes a little bit of time. And having those tooltips would be awesome, I think, for a new player to understand. Even they could put it in the learning resources. You know, where it's the learn to play. They could just have, like, quick breakdown of each hero.
That could be something longer. Like, obviously, you'd focus on that maybe once the game itself is more finished. But that expanding that area would kind of be handy.
Do you remember here, League of Legends Spotlight with? Oh, you don't.
I've never leagued.
What was that guy's name? Tons of damage. Freak. Yeah. Way back when.
Flex tape.
Freak, the freak.
When he
the guy.
stabs the bucket, tons of damage.
Tons of damage. Yeah, that's him. That's him.
All
right. But yeah, so he did hero spotlights, right? For all the League of Legends champs. And it was like a 3-minute video where you just go over, like, what they did, what they're good at, stuff like that. I actually really enjoyed those back in the day when I was, like, playing the beta for League. But those things could be really cool for Deadlock. Again, there's probably something in the future when they release a new character in terms of marketing. But right now, that, again, just maybe having something in game would be better.
I've been making one that's basically based on, like, all the people will probably see this at some point whenever I finish it. But I've been doing, like, you ever seen Xbox Ahoy?
No.
Okay, so Xbox Ahoy, for context, like this English dad, and he would play like Call of Duties and stuff like that, and upload really long, in-depth documentary-style videos where it'd be like, the MP40, normally used by the Germans, this weapon would hold a 32-round magazine that would fire at 450 velocity.
All right.
And I was like, well, that's fun. Like, I used to watch those, and I was like, these are kind of good, right? And I was like, I feel like the guns in Deadlock are so versed, and I realized when I made that Calico video, like, everyone was like, what do you mean it is a diamond shape and you have to aim? I'm just trying to aim, bro. And it's like, yeah, but all the gun mechanics are different.
Strategy.
Like you know what I mean? Like certain weapons, you can't just point and click at head. You do have to actually use them a bit differently. Like all the shotgun heroes at range, you got to be aiming at the chest, homie. Just being real. Like if you're aiming here, it's going to miss. It's not going to do as much damage.
It's counterintuitive, well, because they tell you to buy headshot booster on all those characters, which is good because you do a lot of damage off that one shot. But that's poke.
But
it's poke.
But that's the thing.
Yeah,
you can still hit the headshot, but you have to aim in the right place. And I don't think people realize because they're so innately tuned.
Right? You want to hit there.
Aim neck will hit head. Because if you imagine the majority of the burst is going to go up and kind of spread out. It's going to hit them in the face.
Up here, like a little tiara.
Exactly. So if you're in close range, you want to aim directly at the face because it's going to hit them. So if you aim here, majority is going to go around the neck and at the top. But yeah. It's just something to be aware of. But I've been making a video like that basically just explains like what the weapons are, how to use them properly, you know, like base sort of.
Yeah, because they're all so different. They're all so different. And there is definitely stuff like, for instance, that magician just can't last hit save his life early game. Until you get high velocity mag, like you're ruined. You're absolutely ruined.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would be cool. I'd enjoy that. I mean, I think way back when. June, maybe. I made a video on Lenny against Paradox.
Yes.
I did really well. People really enjoyed that. It's just hard. It's hard to make those videos, I think, right now because things change so frequently. It's like they just get outdated so fast. There's definitely stuff I'm still planning on doing, but just like when the game's in a more steady place, I think.
I think a lot of the content we've been making now focuses more around sort of, you know, things that will be evergreen longer term where you can go back and look at how the game used to be, facts that will still be relevant from now. But I remember like it's the same thing. Like obviously when I'd make the teleporter layout videos and then the next day the whole layout's gone and it was like people were there going, this is wrong, idiot. And you're like, well, yeah, no shit. Like this was a month ago, you know? So
it's crazy.
There's a lot of that stuff that obviously once the game gets a little bit more less, you know, fluctuating for change, it will be easier to do a lot of the ideas we've had, which will be fun.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm looking forward to it. Let's put it that way. I'm definitely looking forward to that stuff because there has been a lot of videos that get binned because it's like the patch note comes through and then there's never mind a patch note and it all gets changed and you're like,
we start working on something and then we're just like, well, there's no point releasing this because it's just not relevant anymore.
It's a struggle. It's a real struggle.
I got owned recently. I did one where I did like a whole video on Ammo Scavenger. Didn't post it because a patch came out. Yeah. And then obviously in that patch, they changed Ammo Scavenger.
There was another patch on top of that, right? Right. They changed it again.
So then I post the video and I was like, well, the main tip isn't affected. You know, the thing I'm actually talking about. But the screenshot just had the old stats on it. And everyone's like, this is ridiculous. Why are you posting? And it's like, bro, listen to the tip. The tip's the thing. Like, it hasn't changed. It's just the picture. Yeah. Do you want me to re-render the whole video? Like,
it is crazy. I feel bad for some other content creators like that, where it takes a while to make these videos and get them out.
Oh, yeah.
And I respect a lot of the content creators that work on Deadlock because getting those videos out and people were saying, they're like, oh, this is an old patch. It's like, fuck me, the patch came out 3 days ago.
Like, sorry, dude. Yeah. Like,
yeah, Jesus. Fair play to them. Like, I mean, they're keeping up to date with the game. Like, well done. But I think you have to be a little bit lenient, especially when do like the gameplay vids. Like those are fun to watch, and I think, and if anything, I'm quite thankful for a lot of those guys that still do those. I mean, Zergy puts out some great videos. The Trackpad Supreme. But some of his videos are slightly outdated at times, and they will be as you go further back in his catalog. But the way he plays is very informative. And you learn a lot from it. So a lot of times I'm just grateful that he's still posting them.
I mean, I think in all honesty as well, there's nothing bad because also people will miss, right? Here's the thing that people don't get right now. They'll miss this in 2 years' time when you're getting more like, regular gameplay content updates, but things stop changing so crazily and so dynamically where you get like, whoa, the game's entirely different now. Like, that's going to go away eventually. You know what I mean? It won't be anywhere near as frequent. Any of this content that people are making now, especially with the stuff we do, it's also kind of in a way to document it, because obviously that's why we try and make everything in 4K. We do it all like as nicely as possible, show everything off, because it's like you want to look back in 3 years' time and see what Deadlock looked like. You don't want it to be 720p on an iPhone. You want it to actually be like max graphics, 4K, and you're like, whoa, this is how the game used to look and play, and now it's not even the same game. I think that's a big element of it as well, is just having this somewhere, because it is going to go away one day.
Yeah. And that's what we'll keep doing up until that point. Keep covering the game, keep making silly videos about it like this, and just have a good laugh. And hope that you guys enjoy the ride along with us, which hopefully doesn't come to a stop anytime soon. But it gets a little less, I don't want to say bumpy. Let's say
they put
wavy.
Some nice, what would it be like? Yeah, they
let's
put some new
straight.
AstroTurf down. Yeah, we can get on the Autobahn, and speed up, enjoy it a bit. But yeah,
but
dude,
right now you're here for the ride. You're here for the ride. You're here for the ride.
Yeah. Seeing what Deadlock's like. Well, that's also the fun bit, is because obviously, again, we are quite lucky, because this isn't very common that you ever really get the sort of test something that isn't done. Especially like this, like where Valve have changed the game so much based on what people have said over this period of time. It's very cool, especially whenever you post things on the forums and you're like, I don't know if I like this, and then 2 months later maybe something gets changed and you're like, oh, that could have been me. Like, it feels cool.
It does. And in the meantime, I'm going to keep growing out my hair until the game's out, and then we can do like a
You're going to give it a go, see how long it gets.
Yeah, it's getting pretty long right now, to be honest with you. But yeah,
when was the last time you cut it?
Last year, 4 months ago, or something like that, really.
All right.
So there is a podcast somewhere with me like shorter hair.
Yeah.
But then when the game's released, we'll see.
I haven't cut mine for a long time. I shave these. I shave all the sides. This has got quite long again, but I do
That's
it at home.
what I used to do. I've given up.
I do it at home. I just cut my own hair. I shave the sides, shave the back.
Oh, barber.
Yeah, the actual hair itself has gotten quite long at this point. Hang on.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I can go for the full Mirage look.
Yeah, that is long. That's crazy long.
It's like Professor Snape. We might end up dead, or worse yet, expelled.
It's true. It's true. From the Deadlock Academy. Not good. But we'll get there. We've two just long-haired folk. That'll be good. I think I'm gonna go for the old Geralt cut. That's what I'm going for.
Oh yeah. I was going to say, what are we going to do? Because if we both have long hair, we're going to have to come up with unique styles.
I'm coming down here. I'm gonna do a little ponytail at the back, and then we'll go.
I'll have hair up. I always go for the samurai look.
Yeah. So we're good. So we'll be different. We will be different.
That's all right.
Plus, I'm very white. So
dude, it's kind of weird. Look, you can't even tell.
We're distinctive.
You can't even tell I've got a headset on.
No, you can't actually. It's impressive.
That's pretty good.
Is it the dark room? Is it the hair? We'll never know.
Who knows?
It does look like your floating head, though, with your black top on as well. You've also got really skinny arms because of the zips. You pulled them in now. It's not the same thing anymore.
It's got the old E-League.
Oh, E-League. The classic.
I know. Rest in peace, E-League.
R.I.P.
Yeah. That was a weird time, dude, working at Cartoon Network. I remember... we turned up and the security guard at the front door was obviously checking everyone's passports. They wouldn't let you into the TBS production building unless they knew who you were and if you were meant to be there. And it was this is really weird. It's like an armed guard in Atlanta standing outside Cartoon Network. Odd. And he's like, you're allowed in. Well, I suppose because obviously it's like a big TV network, right? It's probably film everything there. It's full of actors. Yeah. Where we were working on Overwatch, the studio next door was Shaq and everyone. Working on what's it called? Basketball, the NBA.
The NBA. Yeah. That's insane.
Yeah, we met Shaq.
Did you see him? Oh, you did see him.
Yeah, very tall man. Very tall man.
He's huge. He's huge. Yeah. They don't do him justice on the camera.
No, I think they were explaining that they try and actually have it kind of set up more like, how they did The Hobbit and stuff with the perspective to actually make Charles Buckley and everyone else look of similar size because he's just freakishly big. He's very tall.
Yeah, it's massive. Absolutely.
Yeah.
They're gonna have to get like the reverse box rooms. They like make an indent in the ground for his seats, so he's slightly lower. Yeah, that would work. I wouldn't be surprised if that's something that's happened in the past.
Mate, that was a really weird experience though. Working on American television, you behind the looking glass of it, you don't realize how stressful everything is, down to a T of like timings. Where obviously it's not like it is like, you know, we've done years and years of esports productions. We've ran our own. We've been on everything all over the world. But American TV is like literally, if we fuck this up, that's it. If this commercial airs 2 seconds late, you know what I mean? Like this is our heads on the line here.
End of the world.
And I remember we were in this room with just thousands of monitors, like biggest production studio I've been in, bud. And we were at the back row. And the guy who was in charge, like the TD, basically the shot caller, the IGL, if you will, he loved it cold. So it was like -2.
Oh my God.
He was this big dude, like wide rugby build, you know what I mean? And he's taking up all this room, standing there like this. And he's like leaning around. And he's just going, damn, it's warm in here today.
It's -2.
I'm there, like I was wearing this. They gave us these because I was like, I am freezing, and they were like, here, have some E-League jumpers. I'm putting these on. I'm like this, trying to observe Overwatch.
That's
like,
insane.
Can we cut to the May War, please?
Yeah, it's horrid.
Yeah, it was really bad. I remember I asked him if we could turn the cooling off, and he was like, "Are you running the show?" I'm like, "No, I'm pressing the buttons.
I am freezing.
Like I'm dying of hypothermia, though."
You lose a finger there, sir. That's fine. You only need 4 fingers to observe. You're good. Yeah, that's wrong. I would not be happy with that situation at all. I'd be upset. I think the only kind of the opposite of that is that we had a situation where it was too hot. And then they installed way too many air conditioning units, and then it was freezing. It's either one or the other. There was one event where I was sat like at the end on one of the desks, and they'd installed an air conditioning unit right above us, but it was specifically localized on my position, and I got so ill. Because it was in Indonesia at the time, and I remember I would walk 5 minutes to go outside to the heat. Like I would go outside, like warm myself up before like trudging back in. It was disgusting. I brought summer clothes as well, so I was freezing to death.
Yep, it will own you. It will own you. I had it. I remember. This is so bad. Like in context.
There at the sun.
When we did the race toward first in London at Red Bull Gaming Sphere for WoW, right? This was, I can't remember what it was, Nyalofa, maybe, Queen Ashara, I think. And we were in there with 2 guilds, Limit and Pieces, and then us on the commentator desk. But obviously there's like 55 men in a basement in London trying to see which one's going to come first in a race to the world first.
Some strong hands in that room.
God, it took a lot of energy.
Strong forearms on the keyboards, obviously.
But they rented like 7 industrial fucking ACs. And these were on constantly, just, you know what I mean? Like dumping air. And we're sat in basically the air path of all of them because we're in the middle on the talent desk. At one point, they're like, right, we're going to cut to the desk. Jacky, you're going to do a giveaway for Doomhammer, a massive replica of Doomhammer. I'm like, cool, dude, this will be sick. So I'm there giving it away. And I'm like, right, if you want to win this Doomhammer, head over here, enter the giveaway. And as I'm doing that, my nose just goes,
oh, no.
Blood everywhere, all over the Doomhammer.
Oh,
this,
really?
Like, really expensive replica, like 2 of 2 Doomhammer for the event. Blood everywhere. And I'm like, all right, guys, well, enter the giveaway. We're going to go to a quick break.
Not this hammer. It's a different hammer.
And I'm there just pissing blood. And they're like, you all right? And I went, yeah. I mean, I'm going to be real. My nose is real dry. I was like, I've been in a room with 7 ACs for 2 weeks straight. Like, my nose is dry. I think the blood vessels have just burst. And they went, oh, that can happen. And we cleaned off the Doomhammer. And I came back on. I felt like
you have to give it away.
Twat.
Do you have to give it away?
Well, Red Bull gave it away. As far as I know,
did you have to hand it to someone?
I had to give it to the production manager, and They
Oh,
cleaned
okay,
it.
that's good. As long as you didn't have to
Yeah.
hand it to the actual winner and be like,
No.
that's had my blood on
Because
that.
it was only us in person, so the production
Okay.
manager cleaned it. But you still feel like a bit of a bastard because it's like,
Put out like a public message.
yeah, my
We've
bad.
cleaned Jacky's blood off. the
Jacky
hammer.
didn't mean to bleed over the hammer. His nose was just dry from all the
Yeah.
ACs. But yeah, that was mad.
Yeah, that's upsetting. I'd hate
Side
that to happen
note.
on camera.
The best bit is as well, 5 minutes before that, we did an interview with one of the players, and his microphone, the cable was wrapped around the microphone like this.
No.
And we went, oh, your cable's on your mic. And he goes, oh, let me fix it. Moves it, and the microphone just goes whoosh into his eyeball. And like full speed whacked him in the eye. And he's there going, yeah, I think we're going to do pretty well this raid tier. Yeah, I think we're doing okay. And it was just like, what is happening? But like, what is this
That sounds like
comedy of errors we're involved in?
That sounds terrible. That does sound terrible. I would not want to be involved in that. I think I would have gone home out of embarrassment. I would book my own plane ticket.
And they kept playing the clip. They played. It's like day 2. So obviously for 2 weeks throughout the event, every time they would cut. Yeah, every time they cut to him, be like, "Here's Bastu." It would. And at one point he came over and he was like, "Can you ask the production guys to please
Stop
stop
doing that."
using the clip of me getting hit in the
So
face?"
sad.
And he was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, dude."
I don't. It's good. It's good.
It was banter.
It's good
It was great
TV.
banter.
It's good
It was
TV. There's
really
not much we
good.
can do about it.
They also there was, I remember, basically a player called Mavy Cakes that was a healer for one of the teams, right? And I realised, like, oh, Mavy Cakes, obviously very close to Baby Cakes. So every time they would cut to his POV, I'd just go, Mavy Cakes,
Yeah.
you just, oh no. And then everyone started doing it. So instinctively, all of the talent would do Mavy Cakes. And he requested, he was like, guys, I'm a bit nervous. Every time it cuts to me, I can hear everyone singing. And I'm messing up my raid mechanics because of it. And I failed one of the heals. Can you please ask them to stop singing Mavy Cakes? Because he was like, because I know if they sing, that means that my POV's on
It's on
stream.
screen. Oh,
No. And I was like, oh.
I think that's always the weird thing that I found about. Just before we probably wrap this one up, but like that was always the weirdest thing I found about those Warcraft raid events is that the talent are all in like the same room.
Yeah, we're
with
just in the
all
middle.
Raiders. Yeah. It must be such a stressful experience because not only do you know you're on the screen, but you can literally see the people talking about you on the sidelines.
Yeah. Or even
Madness.
worse, you can see that I've got a BuzzFeed quiz about which Harry Potter character are you open, whilst you're doing like what you think is a really good take, and we're sat there like, oh,
Not Snape.
would you be Harry Potter? And they're like, I think we might actually kill it, guys. And they lose, and it's like, I knew you wouldn't.
I knew you would be Harry
I'm
Potter.
on the Harry Potter quiz.
You're a bloody what's his name? Guy with the slick back hair, blonde. Not Malcolm. Not Malcolm.
What, Malfoy?
Malfoy, that's the one. Yeah.
What is his name? Jacob Malfoy? No.
I only know him as Malfoy.
What is his name?
Malfoy. No, I was going to say Dela Cruz, but that's not right.
No, that's fucking
Draco. Bloody Draco. Yeah. Damn.
Fuck off, Harry.
His name. I think the problem is his name's too cool.
Yeah.
His name's too cool.
Just imagine that being the first scene.
Fuck off, Mudblood.
Yeah. Just Draco playing Deadlock. Fuck off, get out my lane, my bud. All right, Jesus
Christ. No, that's not right. Well, anyway, that was the Deadlock very adjacent podcast. Back with Dead Air once again. Always fun. Always good to be on. Hopefully we'll have some. But it might just be us again, in which case that's cool. Right?
Yeah.
We might have some guests on. You never know.
We'll see how it goes. It'll be one or the other. You'll have me and Blank, or me and Blank and a guest,
Harry.
or fuck off, Harry. Prick.
That's a demonetisation
so
right there.
aggro. Like, come on, Draco. Why? There's no need, is there? On the train, Harry.
peeking his head through the bloody window.
Yeah, I wasn't doing anything.
Is that a frog? Is that a chocolate frog?
What, do you think you're cool because you've got a beard man card? What's his name? Fuck, what are any of their names? Why do they not exist in my memory anymore? Dumbledore.
You've like erased Dumbledore from my head.
Yeah. The beard man.
Oh, the big
man with the beard.
guy. The man
Yeah.
with the beard.
The head teacher Beardy.
Pointy hat, pointy hat.
You know the one. He sorts them. He sorts them into the teams. He is the sorting man.
Christ.
Mate, you know what would be unreal, actually? If when you load in the Deadlock, you don't get to choose your character.
Sorts
You
you
go
into-
to the middle, yeah, and you put on the sorting hat, and it goes, yes, feeding. Smells like haze!
It could have sorted you actually into like the individual groups as well, like the mole men.
Yeah.
Right, but bloody hell, we need to.
Dirt on the fingernails. Rodents like plague. Mow and krill. Must be Mo. Right. Fuck
Right
it.
then.
This is
Yeah.
terrible. Yeah. We'll end it there. All right.
See you later, guys.
Thanks
We'll
for
sort you
watching.
later.
Yeah. Come back for the sorting hat next week, where we'll decide which faction you fit into. Bye-bye.
Ta-ra.